Vanakkam. Hi, truth lovers. Welcome to SIP, South Indian Perspective, putting the voice of South Indians first. Today, our topic of discussion is political reasons for Tamils to build a massive temple. Tamil scholars used to say the main reason for building those temples at that time, as it was used as a wealth storage and an asset management building for the entire kingdom. So it has political, social, and economic implications. And that's the reason large number of kings used to build temples, and even many queens used to have personalized temples, and rich merchants used to build big, massive temples, and corporatized religion and organized religion also used to have these kind of massive temples. And let us discuss the 10 important reasons why the temples were built, and it has socio-economic policies embedded in them. So first, it was used as a grain storage silo, holding tons of rice, which will be used to store at the time of surplus production, and at the time of drought, it will be distributed among its subject, as well as used as a war backup at the time of any war. And this helps in preventing any drought or any shortage in the then market. And food is also used as a weapon in those days, even to some extent these days also. Number two point is that water storage tanks. It was used as a water storage tanks. Massive water tanks were built before temples or near temples. They'll be capable of waging. And water is also used as a weapon sometimes. The third important point being it is used as a gold storage, or it is a primitive banking where many costly jewels of different kinds and even gold plating on idols was used. Even different locations of the temple, huge gold and other costly ornament treasure box will have been buried, which will be used at the time of emergency. And fourth being it's used as a weapon bunker. So if you see most of the Tamil Nadu temples, it will have huge temple walls like fort. The reason is that between these walls there will be small area where they can store a lot of weapons, and at the time of war, these temples will act as an what you could say a defense post and even a communication post, and it helps in holding the enemy's march into the territory, as capturing a temple is not so easy as it will be built in a fort pattern, and soldiers from inside will be able to defend the temple like a fort for a long time. This reduces the speed of the march of the enemy. This will help in reorganizing the armed forces and having a better fighting techniques and better fights, we can say. And fifth important reason is it also used as a place of delivering justice for the common man, where king or noble people and scholars will preside over different problems that available in the society and give a right, justful decision, which will lead to a prosperous society. So justice was also delivered. It's a point of justice, and many books on justice, poetry, and many scholars. Assemble point was also used as an temple was used as an assemble point for scholars and poets in those days. The sixth reason it is used as an celebration point. It will be festival will be centered on this temple, both religious and personal. For example, many god birthday will be celebrated, and this will bring about a lot of economic activities in around the temple, and this is also used for personal functions like king swearing in ceremonies, sometimes a marriage of a rich man, a common man, or even king. Marriages will be done in that point, as it gives a huge space for large population to gather, and it can accommodate a huge gathering with all facilities like water easily available, food easily available. So this will act as a celebration point. Seventh being administrative feedback location. So when king passes a rule or a law, to have an honest feedback, those days kings used to disguise themselves as common man, and they used to mingle with the people. So one of the best place to mingle is temple, is where people will voice out their opinion, and moreover, if at all, if their identity is being typed, disclosed, or if someone finds out it's a king by his enemy, temple will have a lot of secret passages, so they can easily escape and disappear from the public. And that's also used as a place where they can generate public opinion, manipulate opinion, testing new laws or testing to new ideas. And it's also a place of knowledge gathering happens there. And to get an honest feedback, the king and his family also used this as a feedback location. Eight being army garrison. At the time of war, army cannot get itself scattered on different locations. It will garrison in a single place, and temple will always act as one of the place. When enemy forces marching, this will be made as a temporary army camp where they can go and fight, because surplus availability of water and food will be available. So winning a war, supply of food and what do you say, food and water is very essential. And moreover, places near temple will have a lot of herbal plants will be grown, so that at the time of war, even wounded can also be rectified with those one. So it will be acting as a war garrison, or act as a war room where the commander will give the command and it will be executed in different location. And at the time of any eventuality happens, for example, if the king is going to lose the war, in those cases, most important family members and army generals, what they do, they need to escape from the war so that they can generate an army later and fight back. So what they do is, a temple in the middle of the country will have connected to different temples through underground and subway tunnels. So it will get connected to another tunnel near seashore where there will be a boat through which they can escape. So it's also used as an escape route at the time of any war eventualities. And this is also used as a place of gathering for diplomats. Diplomats from different countries used to gather there. So two basic reasons, where if a king wants not to share his palace with his diplomat, or he don't want the diplomat or people from another king to visit his palace, because that would give them more insight of his king's strengths and weakness. So they would always try to meet in a common point where everything is not disclosed. So it acted as an diplomat meeting point, and where this also paves the way for showing their architectural marvels and flaunt of their engineering achievements. So its temples were used. And last but not least, it is also used for a disaster management area. So not all common man can build best in quality of houses. So temples were made best in quality so that it can withstand a lot of calamities like flood, wildfire, cyclone, earthquake. In those cases, the people will be garrisoned inside the temple, and if there is a huge bunker, that also they will be garrisoned, so that a lot of lives and important lives are saved. Once it is done, they would emerge back and go in for the reconstruction of the society. So thus, coming to the last portion. So I wish to conclude saying that for better socio-economic and political reasons, these big temples should remain as a public property and never get into hands of few, as it will lead to implementation of many social evils that was destroyed over a period of time, and these social evils might re-emerge and ruin the society, and social justice will prevail for the believers from God to grave only when it is with the hand of the government. So let's protect our temples and keep it as a public property.